Hello, everybody. It's Graham Cofe with another My Music. I hope you're having a wonderful week wherever you are and whatever time you're listening to this. I hope you're all okay. Some of you might be at Glastonbury, you lucky buggers. I hope you're enjoying it there. At least the sun has come out now, but it was a bit muddy to begin with. In a minute, I'm going to be speaking to the wonderful SORCHA, but first, let's watch this video over here. Enjoy, and if you do, go and check out the website.
Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop.
Thank you for joining me today, SORCHA. Are you calling it SORCHA? I mean, because you feel with a name like that, you really need like some big pronunciation.
Yeah, just SORCHA, straight into it, clean.
Cool. Okay. Because, you know, I feel like kind of a SORCHA, yeah. You know, it's a big, it's a
If
big
that's how
name.
you want to introduce me, go for it. That's so
Go,
fine.
yeah, is that fine? Where did that name come from?
So my family are Irish, and it's an old Gaelic name, and
Is it?
SORCHA means Sarah, and my mum's name is Sarah, so she just cheeky named me after herself, basically.
It sounds so powerful, though, doesn't
Thank
it?
you.
Yeah. And what
I
a
guess with a
wonder-
name like SORCHA, I have to do something.
you have
you
to
know?
live up to that name. Yeah.
100%.
Absolutely. And now look, I can see an absolutely lovely eclectic set of discs in the background there.
Yeah.
We're seeing a lot of musicals there.
I love musicals.
Yeah.
Huge musical fanatic. My favorite is Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah.
It's so good. Yeah, this is my bedroom wall. So this is behind my bed, which is
Are
pretty
they actually
groovy.
originals? Are they originals on that wall?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, sorry.
I mean,
yeah.
some of those are actually worth money.
And I'm using them to display.
And you're using them for display, yeah. I mean, Oklahoma, I can remember going to see a sort of a local version of Oklahoma when I was probably about 7 or 8. What a great musical that is. Probably quite forgotten by a lot of people. Oklahoma.
I feel like people don't watch those older musicals anymore, which is disappointing because I literally grew up watching them. Like my nana would just always have one on in the house. So people are missing out, and they're amazing.
And there's some big songs in there and some big vocals in those old musicals as well. Not in the same way that I guess with kind of musicals, I guess have transitioned a little bit into a lot of sort of Disney stuff in a way, as well. That kind of Disney crossover, and which is great in one respect, but in another respect, maybe it's lost something because, you know, people used to just go and see this stuff all of the time, and there was maybe a lot more dram. My kids actually do local musicals.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we have something called Clocks where we live here, which is like a light opera society that does like musicals. And I think it's great. I think it's great that they bring back all of these old musicals and they perform them live with a little band and everything else.
Yeah.
Did you do that as a kid? Were you involved?
Yeah. So, obviously in school, I would audition for our musicals, and then when I was probably about 10, 11, I was like to Mum, I really want to like do a real musical, like outside of school. So she signed me up to our local theatre company, just like in our town. But they actually put on like really amazing productions, and they have a beautiful stage and like a proper like live band, and they had orchestras in. So I did like a bunch of musicals with that theatre company. And I think that definitely influenced the way that I sing live today as well, because my mum was very sing pronounced, because when you're in a musical, you're singing what you're talking. So people need to know what you're saying. You can't just sing with like the pop slur of today. You have to be very pronounced and very loud, and, you know. So I think that influenced the way that I sing today dramatically.
I mean, you can't do that sort of soul thing where you slide around with your words, and you know, that's really cool. Oh, when did you first start writing music?
If you look back through the family videos, probably pretty young. So obviously I feel like every kid's out there making up their own songs when they're little. But I think I started taking it like seriously, where I was running to my room to write my feelings down, probably at around like 9, 10.
That's still young. That's young.
Yeah. It just was in me. I had to get something out. It was kind of a way of communicating for me. So yeah, I'd say probably like 9 or 10. And my first like full song was written probably when I was 12. So yeah.
That's amazing. What's, in terms of your journey from then to now, what's been sort of like the hardest thing to kind of pick up musically? What has it been?
Learning an instrument. Oh my God. That was like, because
what did you learn? What did you learn?
I was given a guitar when I was like 7, and I did try it, and I could not. I'm so uncoordinated. Like I can't dance to save myself. So me trying to like coordinate my fingers with the guitar just wasn't happening. And then I decided to revisit instruments when I was probably like 13, 14, and I taught myself piano just through YouTube. And then I was like, wow, this was actually really easy. So then I revisited the guitar when I was probably 18 or 19 and taught myself through this app called Ultimate Guitar.
Oh, yeah.
And
who hasn't used that?
It's the best. I literally live off it. So I taught myself, like, I'm very basic with my instruments, but it's like perfect for me writing. And then it gives, you know, the opportunity to have a band elevate it as well. So yeah, I only play piano and guitar. I think that's all I'm pretty comfortable with playing at the moment. I've always wanted to learn cello though, so you never know.
Wow. For those people that have never seen Ultimate Guitar, you know, it's a great app. It gives you chords. It also gives you tab. What did you concentrate on, chords or tablature?
I focused on the chords. I'm like a visual learner. I would see them holding their hand in that position, and I was like, cool, I'm visually remembering that that's a C chord. So
and like everybody else, did you work your way up? Did you like chords one, and like, you know, because that, like, they have different versions of the same song, sometimes in different keys, just to make it easier to get into the song. So you worked your way up.
Yeah, so I kind of taught myself like 8 of the basic chords, and then, you know, you chuck a capo on and you can make it whatever you want from there. So I'm surviving off of that.
We all need one of these, folks.
They're amazing.
Need one of these. If you haven't got yourself a capo, you need to.
Or else all my songs would be literally identical if I didn't have that.
Well, hey, nothing wrong with that. You know, as Ed Sheeran showed us the other day, 4 chords, you can do a lot of songs, right?
Literally.
Absolutely. In terms of where you are now, what's helping you progress your songs? Is it working with producers? Is it working with other people? Is it, you know, how are you pushing yourself on in terms of your songwriting?
So prior to probably 2 years ago, I was really struggling with getting my music out there because I just didn't know where to start. And like, I was playing gigs and people would be coming up to me like, where can we find your music? And music is expensive to record. So I had to get a full-time job. And then once I had money backing me up, I was able to afford my producer. And he was very generous with his time and pricing for me because he's he was one of my good friends, and we kind of just worked together and made this song as like a team. And then I finally put some music out there, and that just really like elevated the drive, basically. And once I was out there, people were like, when's the next one coming? When can we get more? And then I've worked
It's like, send me your money and it will happen, right?
Literally, I'm like, oh, music is such fast fashion as well. Like, once you've got one song out there, people listen to it for a month and they're like, cool, what's next? And I'm like, I need to work like a couple more shifts before I can give you another song.
But I noticed that you're savvy with that. You have actually realised that, you know, you need that kind of income support, etc. And you've got on your website a way of people actually supporting you, which I think's sensible. How many bands out there don't have that? You need that, folks. You can't just sustain spending your money on this stuff, you know, and going slogging yourself at work all day. Is that working out for you? I mean, you know, are we getting the fans in? Can we get more in? Can we get more in?
I definitely need more support. Something that has really helped me, which I was wanting to do for ages, was releasing my own merch line. And that is literally the best way for an artist to actually make music, because platforms like Spotify and SoundCloud, you're not making money through that. Like, you're lucky to wind up with like $10 at the end of the year kind of thing. So when I put out my merch line and people were actually like, I sold out within the first month, I was like not expecting that. And that really helps me then put money back into making more music so that people can, you know, have this beautiful cycle with my work.
Yeah, well, and I can see why that would be, because, you know, your designs are absolutely fantastic, which is, and that's what people are looking for. People are looking for something a bit different. I've got a band t-shirt on today. There we go. Or an artist t-shirt on today. Pen friend. There we go.
Oh, I love that.
People need to support artists, and they need to, you know, artists need to find that way of getting that support in. So you're quite creative outside of the music side of things as well, then.
Yeah, I feel like anything like drawing, designing. I was making clothes for a period of time. I was baking cakes. I've decorated my room to look like, I don't even know how to describe it. Floral, pretty pink, like anything DIY, I'm doing it. So I think that really helps with my creativity with writing too. Definitely with the aesthetic of me as an artist. I'm very into fashion. If you have a look on my Instagram, it's very like bright, colorful, fun. Like, I don't really take myself too seriously. So yeah, I love creating.
I think it's really important for creative people to have more than one creative outlet, because, you know, there is always, if you follow one line, there's always going to be days where it's just not happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I think some of the best advice that I've heard from major musicians over the years who have gone through periods of sort of
writer's block,
etc., have been, you know, well, if you're not being able to write a song today, paint a picture. If you're not being, you know, write a book, whatever, just do something else that's creative, because
definitely
it will come back round.
Yeah.
But if you're not exercising that creative muscle, then it's difficult. So I think that's great, and also it gives you something else to be focused on, isn't it? I think almost the way most of our brains work, well, definitely mine. I'm just assuming everybody else's works the same. But you know, the brain, sometimes we need to actually focus on one thing to get inspired about another thing.
Definitely. You know? My mum, she keeps saying this, like, she said, SORCHA, you just do 10% of 10 things instead of 100% of one thing. And I'm like, if I'm doing 100% of one thing, like, I'm thinking about all the things I'm missing out on, like creating and achieving on the side. Like, I love a little, I'm very optimistic. I'm going to start a project and I'll just pick it back up in like 6 months kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? So I'm starting.
Yeah. Just tell your mum. Just tell your mum. Let's look at some of the greatest pop stars over the years, right? Madonna, for example, made films, did this, fashion lines, perfumes, wrote books, etc. You know, Lady Gaga, exactly the same. Tell your mum she's got it wrong. It is just
disagree with what she's saying completely. I'm like,
sorry, Mum.
I want to start my merch line. I want to, do the fashion as well. I want to write music. I want to write for other people. Like, I want to, have a piece of everything.
Yeah,
I think 10%
do
of
it all.
everything is fun.
Do it all. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is that a dog?
Yeah, it is.
Wow. We love a dog.
I actually live in the shed at my parents' property.
No.
So,
Look, when you say shed, over here in the UK, a shed is like a little thing at the bottom of the garden that you put the tools in.
it's like
an
it's
outhouse.
like a garage. It's like I wouldn't call it a granny flat. There's no bathroom or like a kitchenette. It's just like a big studio apartment vibe in the back.
I wouldn't call it a granny flat. Well, you're not a granny, are you? So you can't call
It's
it a granny
SORCHA's flat.
It's SORCHA's
My
place.
gap out the back.
Yeah. Do you have big neon lights with SORCHA written across the top of it outside? That would be
Now
great.
that's
right?
another good idea that I could definitely get creative on.
I think so. Now, listen, I mentioned just before, we started all of this. Look, Glastonbury is starting over here.
I saw that.
Yeah. Is that on the ambition list? Do you feel like you're someone that could absolutely slay a festival?
In Australia, I'm a festival fanatic. Like, I'm going to every festival that I can afford at the time.
Nice.
Like, I'm definitely hustling to get there. It's a huge goal of mine to perform at like some of our major festivals over here. I haven't even thought about international festivals, to be completely honest, because Australia's just so big, and like to get on one of our like lineups is a huge achievement. And I think once I've done that, I'll be like, holy crap, like I reckon I could look internationally now. Like that, I've achieved this.
Yeah.
That means I can get in anywhere else. So yeah, I'm definitely working towards hopefully getting on a lineup to something. I don't know if it's in the next
Which
year,
one?
guys.
Can we tag one in so that we can try?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I would love to play at like Splendor in the Grass or like Groove in the Moo. They're really cool festivals that I love going to. So
is that Splinter in the Grass?
Splendor in the Grass.
In the Grass, and what was the other one?
Groove in the Moo.
I love that.
It's great. It's so good. I went to that one this year, actually.
Get into the groove.
So much fun.
Yeah. Well, we should tag those people in. I'll find them. I'll tag them in. Let's try and make that happen. That would be absolutely brilliant.
100%.
It's always interesting talking to people from different parts of the world about music, not only how they make music, but also the kind of music culture around young musicians coming up, etc. Now, over here, we have something called BBC Introducing. It's our, the BBC is still a flagship radio station in the country, and it's BBC Introducing has been absolutely fantastic for young musicians over or up and coming musicians over here, in that if you get identified as a BBC Introducing artist, they start playing you on the BBC, and then they try and support you and put you into this kind of group, and you can put it on your socials, and it kind of elevates you up a level. Is there anything happening like that in Australia?
We literally have the exact same thing, and it's through our ABC, and it's called Triple J, which is like, that's the main independent Australian artist like radio station. And if you get played on Triple J, you are getting on every lineup everywhere, and it is just like literally the peak. Like, it's the best way to promote yourself. They do this thing called Triple J Unearthed, so anyone internationally can upload their music, whether you're known or not. You can upload onto Unearthed. They have a station for unearthed music, and they just rotate through it, and then they have their like producers and whoever kind of nitpick through all of the unearthed music, and then that's how they scout and find their next big thing, and then you might be lucky enough to be promoted onto the main Triple J station. So
you're trying to do that? Yeah,
so all my music, well, you can only have 3 songs at a time, so I've got 3 songs on Unearthed right now. So you can leave me a review on there if you're liking a song, or if you have checked me out as an artist on other platforms. And the more reviews and more views and everything like that that you get, it really helps boost independent artists, because I feel like a lot of people that upload onto Unearthed have the dream to be musicians full time, but it's a really unrealistic thing in today's society to do music full time. Like, it's so hard to make money off that. So if you support independence through Unearthed, it's like a big deal.
That's fantastic. Something for musicians around the world to be aware of, because, as I say, unless we have these conversations, people different parts of the planet perhaps don't know that. You should check out BBC Introducing too. Get yourself on BBC Introducing. There we go.
Sure. And people in the UK should check out Triple J Unearthed. It's so cool. We have a lot of people from the UK that play on that station as well. So it's a cool way to get exposure internationally.
Yeah.
It's really.
And do they then have, because BBC Introducing have stages at festivals over here where they put on BBC Introducing acts. Do they do the same at festivals over there?
I would say probably 9 out of 10 of our festivals are sponsored by Triple J. And
wow,
that's what I mean. As soon as you're on there, like, you have such a high chance of getting on the lineups. If they like you and they're playing your song heaps, you're in demand. They sponsor the events. Like, you're going to be playing. It's huge. So
that's fantastic.
It's massive.
So tell us, for all of those people that are now going to check you out there and find your music, and we're going to put the links in around all of this as it goes out so that people can find you, because that's the whole point of all of this. What are you releasing next? What's coming next from SORCHA? See, I'm finding different ways to do your name in dramatic ways.
I'll have to get you to record yourself saying that, and I can use it as my little tag.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just released my first single off of my upcoming EP. What day is it? Yesterday. It came out yesterday. So it's called Closure. The EP is titled Closure, and it has 5 tracks on it, and it is basically about my life over the last 2 years, through my relationships, and also some songs from previous relationships, just surrounding closure. That's something that, like, I've always struggled with coming to terms with. As a songwriter, your songs are haunting you like 24/7. I'm constantly being reminded of my past and every emotion and feeling that came with it. It's not like I can break up with someone and okay, cool, and like move on. I'm sitting in it. I've written it. So this EP for me was like a huge revelation of like understanding my own closure and working through that. And I feel like I've let go of a lot of stuff that I was holding on to. There's a song coming out in August called Is What It Is, and that for me is like my huge closure song. And I'm really excited to share that one specifically with everybody. But I have a song dropping July 22nd called Autopilot, Is What It Is on August 22nd, and then the full EP will be available on September 22nd, which is my birthday, so we're celebrating.
Brilliant.
So lots of music coming up, because I want to keep everyone on that beautiful momentum of this EP and like come on that journey of closure with me.
So that song, It Is What It Is, I mean, will that, when you play live, will that be the last song then? Will that be like the, I've lived through all of these songs again throughout this set, but it's fine because I've now got this closure song and I can reconcile it at the end.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely, I can't wait for you to hear it. Like, even just listening to it, you just feel resolved at the end. You're like, you feel like you've let go of all of this angst towards whatever it was you were holding on to. Well, that's how I feel anyways when I listen to it. And it's definitely the best song to end the set on, for sure.
There you go. We should clip that clip, and you can have that clip and then, put it out there when the song comes out. And, how many people, everybody out there needs that. Everybody needs that. So I hope, and pray that goes incredibly well for you.
Thank you so much.
It just sounds like that's something that will actually touch so many people out there, and is so needed. You've been a great guest. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
No, it's an absolute pleasure. Thanks for telling us a little bit about what goes on in Australia and how the system works there. Bands, artists across the world. We now know a little bit more about what's going on in Australia. If you're out there across the world somewhere and there's a different system, come on and tell us about it so that we can all learn and share together. It's the best way. Yeah, everybody needs the help and support of each other. Before you go, let's tell everybody where they can go to connect with you, not hear your music, because that's obvious. You can go to the usual places, the black box in the corner of the room, Spotify, Amazon, all of that sort of thing. But where can people connect with you? Where's the best place for you to build your family?
I would say my main social base is through Instagram. I'm a frequent story uploader. I like to engage with everybody who's following me. I also love replying to all my DMs. I have this thing where I can't have notifications on my phone. So if I see that you've messaged me, I am for sure opening it and I will reply. So yeah, Instagram is definitely where it's at. I post all of my reels, all my TikToks, all my videos, some at-home videos of songs that I may never release. You might just get a chorus. That's probably the best way to find me and learn more about me as an artist.
That's fantastic. Last question. Then you can go. Then you can disappear off into the sunset, which is, if you had the opportunity to work with any other musician or producer, who would that be?
Definitely. I've got two. Okay.
You can be greedy. That's fine.
I'm being very greedy. Okay, but it's so cliche, but for both of them. But honestly, Taylor Swift, because I feel like our music definitely relates on a level for theme wise. She has just been through so much, and I feel like I would learn a lot about her. And she's written for that many artists behind the scenes as well. Even to just write a song with her and learn about the way that she, builds her music. Because I've seen videos and snippets of her writing her songs, and I'm like, oh my God, that's literally me at home. I feel like we would just have the best time.
Cool.
And
you'd hang really well.
Literally, we would have so many stories and D&Ms, and there would just be so much shit talk. It would be beautiful. And also cliche, but I freaking love Ed Sheeran. And he's another amazing songwriter. And I know I'm choosing two A-list celebs, but they have honestly paved the way for a lot of our music today. I feel like they're just huge inspirations to multiple bands and artists, and the way that they write their songs is just, it's really cool. It's very different.
How do you feel about Ed's new album? Because it's brave, right?
Yeah. Do you know what? I'm so happy about it, because I was talking about this with my partner, because I wasn't a fan of Divide personally, and I just loved his old stuff. And when he started getting really poppy and doing all those major collabs, I get that would have been really fun for him, but I was missing that emotional element, that poetic lyricist that we all knew prior.
Right, and right from the A-Team. And
literally. Yeah. And for me, Multiply was my favorite album of his. I just really resonated with it. And I think this new album is just, it's more grounding. It's definitely brought us back to a part of the old Ed.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's a grown up version of his earlier albums, which is great. With a more adult sound, but I think it's I think it is him moving on as an artist, and I actually think it gives him more longevity as well as an artist.
Yeah, absolutely.
Back to songwriting in the greatest sense. That dog wants something. He either wants a walk, or he wants feeding, or he just wants to come and talk.
It's
on
not
the
even
show.
that. We have possums here, and they
run.
Yeah, and they run all across my fence and on our power lines. So they're just out the front barking at them. That's literally it.
SORCHA, sometime you need to put possums running on your Instagram, because
I will.
that's just massive. We don't see.
They live in my roof. I've got like a little family in my roof. I definitely will post a video of them.
We don't see possums here.
Really?
Yeah, hands up. Who wants to see possums? Yes, we want to
I'll
see
have
possums.
to post some for sure.
You know that's a
I'll
win.
post some possums if you guys go check out my Instagram and my music.
Yeah. If we can get another 50 people following today, possums are going
I will
on.
post possums.
Brilliant. Excellent. SORCHA, you've been absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much for joining me today. I wish you all the best with your career. Do come back sometime and talk to us about, how you're supporting Taylor Swift, how the collab with Ed Sheeran's gone, all of those things when they happen. Do let us know. That would be absolutely brilliant. Somebody said, I have recipes. You have recipes? What, for possums? I don't know. Some of the comments people make sometimes on these shows, unbelievable. Till next time, if you've enjoyed this, share it amongst all of your friends. Let's get the music out there. Let's help all of these artists get out there. If you've enjoyed it, this has been My Music with me, Graham Kofi. If you haven't enjoyed it today, this has been an instructional video on how to set up lighting in a dark area underground when you're cave hunting. Until next time, bye for now.